Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the AEW or the NXT review for the 26th of April 2022. Show kicks off with an Elon Musk reference as Nikita Lyons makes her way to the ring. Last Legend means business. She comes to the ring quickly. Nikita Lyons, though, takes over. Lyons pins Legend in a return match. Not a good match by any stretch of the imagination. Lyons is not really able to save the match as Legend just isn't ready. Grudge match begins. They both brawl. Lyons takes over, spilled to the outside of the ring where she falls onto the floor. Thankfully, she lands on her head but somehow manages to be okay. Lyons then takes another bump off the apron. Legend sends Lyons crashing into the ring steps, and Legend's in control. Legend then does her best to work over Lyons. Legend attempts the powerbomb. Lyons counters it into a Frankensteiner, and Lyons then measures for the big kick and then hits Legend in the chest. Lyons covers for the 3 count. Anyway, Natalya runs in after the match and jumps Lyons. Legend holds Lyons so Natalya can pummel her pretty directly. Cora Jade makes the save after running down. Swinging a skateboard, she tangles with Natalya, but Legend joins the brawl. Lyons then comes back, running her off two heels, and then she is left standing in the ring alongside Jade. Tony D'Angelo is supposed to wrestle Zion Quinn, but apparently is out of the match with an injury. D'Angelo, in the backstage promo, mocks the injury. D'Angelo says he will now face Von Wagner instead. There's a reference to Sleeping with the Fishes, which is just dumb. More tension in the Diamond Mine, and Roderick Strong steps up to be the leader for the group. He handpicked his opponents. For the Creed brothers, in walk the Viking Raiders in full gear. They meet in a match next week at the Spring Breaker. Von Wagner with Robert Stone defeats Tony D'Angelo. Wagner pins D'Angelo after outside interference from Legado del Fantasma. They're paying back D'Angelo for his involvement with them last week. There's an ugly spill to the outside as D'Angelo falls into the apron and then splats on the floor. The henchmen from the Legado del Fantasma group come in, and Escobar hits a receipt from last week on the knee of D'Angelo. Injured D'Angelo rolls back into the ring, walks into a lariat from Wagner. A 3 count then follows. Toxic Attraction trio is backstage. They bully Roxanne Perez. She challenged Mandy Rose to a match tonight. Rose accepts the challenge. Fallon Henry is with Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen, and they're getting hyped for their upcoming match later. Also announced for Spring Break-In next Tuesday. Tag match, Last Legend and Natalya against Nikita Lyons and Cora Jade. This stems from the angle earlier in the program. Grayson Waller interrupts the debut match of Nathan Frazier. He makes his debut on 2.0. Grayson Waller suddenly attacks him from behind, lays him out. Waller then starts cutting a promo. He turns his attention to Andre Chase. Chase University student sitting in the live crowd. Then Waller bumps and feeds for Frazier, leading to Frazier doing a tope through the ropes. Chase says that this is a teachable moment, and Frazier shakes hands with Chase and company. Women's breakout tournament begins in 2 weeks. Vignette reveals first entrance is Ariana Grace, and she is beauty queen, and she's trained in boxing and MMA. Catalina Chance and Caden Carter defeats Yulisa Leon and Valentina Perez. Chance, which is Casey Catanzaro, pins Perez after a double team finisher when Chance does a 450 splash. Chance and Carter and the bout is better than it has other rights to be. However, needless to say, it's kind of a bit of a goofy run there, and ultimately kind of going along the way here. Um, it's there anyway. Chance Carter going to the bout much better than the other two matches, and tandem offense from Chance and Carter. Leone shows a lot of promise. Alba Faye, formerly known as Kaylee Ray, explains her name change in a vignette that involves fire. Why do stuff like this? Who knows? Legado del Fantasma, Electra Lopez, Joaquin Wilde, and Cruz de la Toro defeats Fallon Henry, Josh Briggs, and Brooks Jensen in a mixed person match. Anyway, Cruz pins Briggs to win the match and attacked by the heels before the bell leaves Jensen laid out for the entire contest. Perhaps he's injured. Anyhow, Henley shows a bunch of fire after the hot tag. She and Lopez brawl all the way around the ringside and off of the soundstage, leaving Briggs alone in the ring with Legado del Fantasma. He fights but is outnumbered. Tandem finisher by Legado del Fantasma on Briggs. Cruz then covers Briggs and gets the pinfall. Natty and Lash Legends are backstage. They hype their tag match for next week. Is this show over yet? Cleanna James in another entrant in the breakout tournament, and she explains the character is basically a rich chick. She is certainly trying to show herself as a businesswoman. Solo Sakoa defeats Trick Williams with Carmelo Hayes. Sakoa pins Williams after the Superfly Splash. Okay match, I guess. NXT North American Champion Cameron Grimes is at ringside with the announcer's desk for guest commentary. He then defends the title next week. Triple threat match against Hayes and Sakoa. Grimes is having a face-off in the ring after the match with his potential adversaries, and nothing really comes of that. He ducks Sakoa, rolls right through him, and ultimately kind of goes in a direction where, I mean, if you wanted to believe that this is, I guess, good enough, you could say it is, but honestly, it's a shot at how far wrestling has dropped over the last several years for sure. Then we go to Malik Blade is anxious ahead of his match with Andros Sanofe, giving a pep talk comedy skit before the match. Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar defeat Andros Sanofe and Malik Blade. And I mean, ultimately, the show is dragging at this point. Why is this match even here? It's certainly not really strong. Anyway, so Ivar pins Blade after the Raiders basically dominate a squash. The NXT Originals, Anofe and Blade managed to get a little bit of offense in, nothing meaningful though. Hot tag to Blade, he goes nuts, he is cut off. Raiders then soon cut off the underdogs for good. Tandem powerbomb by the Raiders, and Ivar covers Blade for an easy 3 count. Two teams then shake hands. After the match, meanwhile, Creed brothers come down to ringside and stare down with the Viking Raiders. Teams meet next week. Tag team spring break-in. Vignette on the beach with Wesley has referencing of losing the tag team titles. Then we go to Mandy Rose with Toxic Attraction defeating Roxanne Perez in a non-title match. So she can't even win a non-title match. That's good for her career. Glad she chose the WWE trash that's out there. Anyway, Rose pins Perez in what is a good match. Anyway, Perez targets a hand in the match, and Perez smacks Rose's hands on the ring steps, basically going after her. She returns from the break, and Rose is back in control. Rose with 2 counts, but Perez kicks off while fighting from underneath. Rose continues to work over Perez. Comeback by Perez, and she fires up on Rose, and Perez looks very advanced over all the women in the NXT. Perez looks better than Rose in the bout, some would say. Rose did carry her own, but Perez has something really special. Perez is running wild, and Rose hits a jumping knee strike out of nowhere. Rose then covers Perez for a pinfall win. Show turns silly. Wendy Chu runs off Toxic Attraction. Heel trio flees the ring and thinking they've gotten away. They really haven't. Chu pushes a button like a character on a cartoon. Giant net falls from the ceiling. The net falls over Toxic Attraction. Chu and Perez jump up to spray Toxic Attraction with silly string. Comedy, apparently. Anyway. Sloane Jacobs is another entrant in the breakout tournament. She's doing a young underdog thing. Lineup for spring break-in next Tuesday. Nathan Frazier versus Grayson Waller. Natalia and Last Legend versus Cora Jade and Nikita Lyons. Viking Raiders against the Creed Brothers. North American Championship. Cameron Grimes defends his title in triple threat against Solo Sakoa and Cameron Hayes. Tony D'Angelo and Santos Escobar have a sit-down meeting, and Ron Breakker defends against Joe Gacy. Rick Steiner appears in the go-home angle. Gacy gets in for the monologue. The Druids surround the ring. They all jump on the apron, trapping Steiner, who made his way out earlier in the ring. Breakker appears and rushes to the ring. Breakker then takes out some Druids along the way. Breakker then mows down Druids like he's going out of style. They hold Steiner down. Breakker is cleaning house. Gacy then blinds Breakker with a Stan Hansen lariat style maneuver. Druids then Fireman's Brigade, and they pass the title down. Gacy is handed title belt and then poses while standing over a prone Breakker. Heavy-handed go-home angle with logic would indicate there is no way that Breakker is losing, but it is what it is, and, well, there we go. We'll be back with more right after this.